Hey everyone, welcome to AK Reacts. I'm AK, your favorite Middle Eastern PNG tuber, ready to dive into some awesome videos. Let's get started. So hello, and welcome back to another AK Reacts video. Just a bit of disclaimer, the AI video thing at the start might be a bit unsettling for people. I just didn't want an empty screen for you. I wanted the face to go along with the voice. I might do a similar VTuber model down the line, but for now stick with the PNG and the AI video, at least for now. I have been sick for 2 weeks, so sorry for the delays. I'm gonna do better in the upcoming weeks as I get a bit more better. For some military background info for the first time viewers, I'm ex-military conscript that was in police force. I worked as an escort, as a patrol, as a guard duty, and an armory hand in all the time I have served. I also served in the hottest deserts and snowy mountains of Iran. Maybe check the promotion point video for a bit more depth in that regard. So, first of all, go watch the original video. You need to see it yourself. Like and share it. Look for the links in the description. I'm going to put in there. And please like the video, subscribe, share, and support the channel. Without further ado, we have a video from our favorite creators, mikeburnfire and most likely Zach Hazard. This one's name is Bradley. It's from the Campfire stories. You know what's up. Now, I have never seen this video. The name Bradley does sound familiar, and just by the amount of movies you have seen this armored personal carrier vehicle. So I know what the M2 Bradley is. From my perspective, let's see. We don't actually have a equivalent to the Bradley, but we have different types of it. Like if you're talking about a armored personnel carrier, we have like the Borak and the, what was the other name it's called? Rakhsh. Yeah. The other armored personnel carrier is called the Rakhsh. It has an historic name for some reason. It's the mount of a mythical figure in Shahnameh, which is a very big poetic history mix type of book that is very near and dear to every Persian. So they used a mythical mount's name for that one. I'm going to put some of the pictures there so you have an idea of what it is. But without further ado, let's get into the video.
Were you also required to clear a Bradley at one point? Why would they call you a small arms repairman?
Because technically
a Bradley is small arms?
It cannot be.
As far as the army is concerned, the M242 chain gun on the front of a Bradley is considered small arms. So are 155mm howitzers.
Yeah.
How much larger small guns can get?
I think their logic behind it was, well, it's small enough that a person could theoretically move it, so it must be small arms.
Oh, the truck broke down. Get our small arms repairman in over here.
Yeah, a 6-cylinder engine is kind of like a gun. I would tell the story about me having to clear the Bradley.
Just one more point about it. I have seen a couple of like big guns on like massive machinery. There are some vehicles like from the Nopos. I've talked about them before in like my first video, but they have like different weapons and non-lethal ones to disperse crowds. They're the equivalent of a SWAT team for us, the Nopos, all blacked out cars with like fenced out with guards around the cars and all that. So a couple of those weapons are technically grenade launchers, but they are using them as like the smoke and tear gas variants. So those are kind of in the same way grenade launchers, but are required to be fixed by small arms repairmen. So that does happen. Let's continue.
But it is a long story and it kind of makes me really angry. So one night I'm sleeping in my parents' room.
He just kept in, right?
Story and it kind of makes me.
Let me check this again.
I would tell the story about me having to clear the Bradley, but it is a long story and it kind of makes me really angry. So one night I'm sleeping.
Yeah, he just jumped in. All right, I'm down for it.
My door wakes me up. Specialist, get up. There's someone on the phone for you. All right, fine. So I go answer the phone, and it's somebody from one of the other companies, and they're telling me, "We need you to come over to this gate over here and clear Bradley."
Over the gate.
Clear Bradley. Well, we need you to come make sure that the main gun on this Bradley is cleared. I mean, I can do that theoretically, I haven't worked on one since I was in, like, job training, but alright, where's the gunner? Well, he's gone.
Gone?
Where's the driver? He's gone too.
Gone, gone?
The tank commander. He is also gone.
Where was everybody out to
The
lunch?
tank commander? Yeah,
When they
definitely
said
gone.
I assumed they meant that everybody in this Bradley had been killed and they had towed it back to the gate.
Yeah.
And that they needed me to come clear it before they brought it into the base. Because you can't just be driving a armored vehicle around with a 25mm chain gun loaded on
Exactly.
it through a base with people in it.
Exactly.
Why not?
You know,
One-
somebody would be stupid and be like, look, I'm a gunner, haha, and then they would just rip 12 rounds through the side of a building.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it's
The
fair.
next day I found out from somebody else that what
Safety
had happened
first.
is some of the people on gate guard had noticed that there was just a Bradley driving up and down one of the main routes by itself with no other vehicles with it.
That's abnormal. They're normally part of a caravan, right?
Yeah, they're normally part of a convoy.
Yeah.
Why is this Bradley driving around by itself? So they get in a Humvee, they drive out to there, and they find this Bradley. They have to get in its way because it keeps trying to drive away.
That's so weird.
They can't get a hold of him on any radio frequencies. So they basically just park right in front of it and flag him down and take like 20 minutes to coax this driver out of the vehicle, reassuring him that yes, in fact, they are U.S. soldiers and no, they're not going to try and kill him the moment he gets out of the vehicle.
Huh.
I'm still not sure why he was driving around by himself.
Oh, I'll get to
Yeah.
that. What happened was this Bradley was part of a armored vehicle convoy that had driven through
That would be standard,
5
yeah.
different areas of operation. And this Bradley got hit with an IED. Everybody was a little shooken up, but they
Explosive
were okay.
device,
So they
yeah.
moved Bradley to a different spot in the convoy, kept going. It got hit with another IED.
Damn.
They moved it to another spot in the convoy.
You're just rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic.
It got hit with another IED.
Third, alright.
Yeah,
At this point, this Bradley has been hit with 3 IEDs now. The gunner and the tank commander of this Bradley suddenly decide, you know what? Fuck this, I'm done being in this Bradley. So they get out of the Bradley and leave the
Why?
driver, who is a 19-year-old kid and has never been
Even
outside
worse?
the wire in Iraq before, in the vehicle by himself. And then they start the convoy back up. 10 minutes later, guess what happens?
Oh, come on.
I don't know.
The Bradley gets hit with another IED.
God damn it.
This one is so bad that it knocks out the comms in the vehicle, meaning that the
Oh,
driver
shit.
can no longer talk to anybody else. The driver hits his head against the inside of the vehicle, gets knocked unconscious, and the rest of the convoy goes, he's gotta be dead, and leaves.
Wait, what?
Vehicle is still functional after being hit 4 times.
Okay, one obvious point. Why did the commanders just leave the tank that was supposed to protect them? That's an armored personnel carrier. It's supposed to carry its personnel in armored security. It did save their lives like 3 times, and the 4th one being the driver alone, but still, it was doing its job. Why did you leave it? First, that was the main issue. Second, as someone who has been a comms operator, it happens a lot when you're on patrol or gate guard duties and all that. You need to be able to communicate. That's just the basic of it. But even then, there are other ways that you would communicate with one to make sure they're okay. And why did they leave that guy? The poor kid, 19 years old. He needed a officer at least beside him. At least 2 people should be in that car, right? Like, if something happened to one, the other one could at least theoretically take over. It's getting just so much mysterious. I'm just gonna keep on going, see where it ends up.
Arms?
And they leave him, completely forgetting the first part of the soldier's creed, I will never leave a fallen comrade. They just leave him.
Didn't even grab his dog tags?
But
No, nothing. The rest of the convoy
why?
went, fuck it, drove off. Driver wakes up. He's suffered a serious concussion. Doesn't know where
Concussion?
he
He
is.
hasn't died.
Doesn't
Why
know
did they
he's
leave him?
in a Bradley by himself. Doesn't know where anybody else is, or why he's bleeding from the side of the head. Can't reach
Shit.
anybody on the radio. The Blue Force tracker system is down, so he can't figure out where anybody else is. So he just starts doing the only thing he can think to do, which is drive up and down the main route all by himself, looking for the rest of his convoy, because he assumes there's no way they would leave me behind.
But
Why would
yeah,
they leave me?
yeah.
Oh, the story's kind of dark.
This poor
honestly
19-year-old
very
kid got left all by himself
good
in the
minds.
middle of Iraq because his tank commander and his gunner decided they didn't want to be in a vehicle that got blown up anymore.
It seems so irresponsible to leave.
Vehicle was
It was
protecting them.
incredibly irresponsible of pretty much everybody in that convoy.
Yes.
The fact that not a single person went, why are we just leaving Private Snuffy in this vehicle all by
Private
himself?
Greenhorn.
I can only hope that the lieutenant or officer who was in charge of that convoy got his ass handed to him and got court-martialed and was never in a position of command ever again. It is incredibly reprehensible and is one of the reasons
completely
why I got
agree.
out of the military.
One of the very many.
One of the many reasons.
I have a similar story. One time I was left in charge of guarding the toilets.
Aw, damn
And
it.
I used one of the toilets and I clogged it. And I had to unclog it, but we didn't have access to the supply cabinet. So I cleared it manually.
Ew.
Oh,
Oh.
With your hands?
Yeah.
Oh, that's foul.
You gotta
I'm
do
so
what you
sorry
gotta
for
do.
yeah, you
I
have to,
suppose so.
but
It
I'm
sounds
so
like the same
sorry
thing
for you.
me.
Yeah, no, getting left by your unit in Iraq to die is totally the same thing as having to clear a toilet with your hands.
Okay, I need to. Oh, this just reminded me of a story about one time I got punished like really bad. We were stationed in the middle of a desert, the Lut Desert of Iran, and I was the guy responsible for that night's shift. We had 3 different shifts covering the night. After my shift was done, my job was to make sure to wake everyone up, get them to equipment, make sure they sign every equipment that they need, go to their post duties, and have some checkups on them. All right. A couple of these people had underlying conditions, so I had to be on the lookout for them and all that. So I had to manually go up to their posts, their stations, and check if they're okay, if they need something, and sometimes fill the place in until they can go get a bathroom break or something. It happened a lot, right? One time I was done with my shift. I handed everything else I had to the next guy in charge, the guy that's supposed to like run the second term, and I went to sleep. I was still in combat gear, so I only gave the equipment to the next guy, but I had like my tactical vest on, my boots on. I was sleeping fully clothed with just a blanket over me. I was asleep for 10 to 20 minutes before I opened my eyes, saw the officer inspector just right looking at me, and he just looked at me and said, "Get the hell up." I don't know how he got there, but when I woke up, I saw like everyone from the last shift and the current shift that they were supposed to be doing on like in a line, just waiting out in just formation. And he didn't wake everyone else, just the guys that were like on guard duty, because it was the barracks. Everyone else was just sleeping in. I got up. He asked, "Is this the time of your guard duties and all that?" And he started questioning me. So this guy was the night inspector. He would be the guy that would check on all the soldiers, all the conscript, all the officers, see if they were doing their jobs right. So when he was here, we already knew something bad was like happening at that point. He started questioning, and where were you at your shift? I started saying that I was done with it. I have given all the equipment and all that. I have exchanged the shift and all that. He was having none of it. I didn't know what had happened, but a couple of people hadn't like woken up, and the guy in charge completely just left them to sleep. He didn't even bother to ask someone who they were, where were they, and why aren't they on their shift. It was complete negligence on his part, but the officer didn't have any of it. He said everyone has to wake up, get out. All the people at the guard duties and all that. So that's when he started that's when the physical punishment started. So we exercised so much in the cold night of the desert at like 2:30 a.m. when it was supposed to be a regular weekday. So we had to get up for classes at 4:30, sorry. Then we had formations and all that. So the only 2 hours of sleep that we got, we were under punishment for it. I got stuck with a punishment that was hysterical. It was to, this is in the middle of a desert. I was stuck with brushing a asphalt road that had like 4 lanes going and coming back, so 8 in total, so that there would be not a single speck of dust on it. And the officer was just behind my shoulder, just looking at me, waiting for me to just for 1 second stand still, and he would just start shouting. I wasn't the only one there. There were like 9 or 10 other people just behind me, everyone just on their floor, just scrubbing asphalt. Stuff happens. Yeah, getting punished for and all that does happen. And this was for something that I genuinely had nothing to do with. Like, it wasn't my shift. I had done my part, but everyone gets the punishment, right? Praise for one, punishment for all. Let's continue.
We both suffered.
My main complaints are that most of the time the army was so disorganized and so stupid about what it would use its resources for. It was just infuriating to me.
Yeah.
Sometimes military incompetence can be funny.
Most of the time it's horrifying.
Yeah.
Our base sergeant major while I was in Iraq had the biggest hard-on for making sure that everyone still had their seatbelts on while they were driving military vehicles. He would sit outside in a Humvee on one of the main routes and stop convoys that were not part of his command or even his jurisdiction and walk up to each vehicle individually and make sure that everyone in the vehicle had a seatbelt on. This sergeant major would have his driver park the Humvee in the exact same spot.
That is one of the most stupid jobs I have seen a high-ranking officer ever do. Like, that wouldn't fly here because of a unrelated reason. Like, the cops that have jurisdiction in searching your car or even stopping you for your car are called the traffic police. They do their job and they have their own color coded. They don't interfere with anything else. They have the road safety and city traffic in their mind, and that's it. So normal cops like us would definitely be co-workers, but not working in the general ballparks of each other. We wouldn't stop any cars for any sort of infringements unless like there was an accident, because then we could, to maintain order and all that and just document things as an officer of the law, which could help in the case and all that. But we would be caught having someone to tell us, why aren't you wearing your seatbelts? That's just stupid. And I don't think a sergeant major is paid to do that, honestly. Like, why the hell are you doing it? You are being paid so much and you're just cosplaying as a traffic police? Let's keep going.
Every day. And eventually, one of the local insurgents realized, hey, somebody parks a Humvee in this same spot every single day. And shot the gunner in the neck.
Oh, God.
Insurgents killed the seatbelt checker.
No, insurgents killed the gunner of the seatbelt checker because there's no fucking justice in this world.
Damn. Rest in
Also
peace.
had this big old blimp.
He didn't deserve it.
$1 million digital infrared camera hanging from the bottom of it.
I'm sorry, did you say a blimp?
Yep, big old blimp. Like the Goodyear blimp, but a little bit smaller.
Huh.
Nobody could ride in it. It just had a very expensive digital infrared camera.
Oh,
You
yeah.
could see long distances. Instead of using the
Check
blimp
for
to look
heat
outside the
signatures
base
and all that.
see if insurgents were trying to blow us up, our base commander used the blimp to look inside the base to make sure people weren't going over the 5-mile-an-hour speed limit.
Make sure they were wearing
Wow.
their seatbelts.
That's
What a
just
good
like
use of
petty.
resources.
Yeah. At one point, I was issued a belt-fed machine gun. I
Huh?
don't know why. I think probably because somebody in my chain of command was mad at me. Gave me an M249 because they were like, fine, make him carry around this 13-pound piece of shit. I
Ah,
discovered on
damn.
a firing range that if you use this machine gun while wearing Nomex shooting gloves, there was the potential that the glove could get caught in between the trigger and trigger guard, thus making the machine gun continue to fire even when you release the trigger.
Ooh.
First,
That
I
is a
talked to my
very
chain of
dangerous
command
one.
and said, hey, this is really unsafe. Can I cut the trigger finger off of my Nomex glove so that I don't accidentally have a runaway gun and shoot somebody?
Was the Nomex glove issued to you?
Yes.
Ah, you can't do it then.
Well, no, they were issued to me, but the Nomex gloves are considered an expendable item. They don't expect them back.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you can
They said,
keep
you know
them.
what? That's a really excellent safety concern, specialist.
Yeah,
Thank
you were a
for bringing that up
specialist,
to us.
so...
Why don't you go ahead and do that? And I went, okie dokie. So I cut the trigger finger off my Nomex glove. Well, a bunch of other people saw me running around with a glove that had one finger cut off of it. And they went, that looks cool. So they cut all the fingers off their gloves.
Oh, brilliant.
And then
They brought
literally
back
the next day at formation, everyone
fingerless
got yelled
gloves,
at
huh?
Because a bunch of people were going around cutting the fingers off their Nomex gloves. And their excuse was, yeah, but I saw Specialist Zach do it, so that means I can do it too.
That doesn't apply to you. He
Specialist
was a
Zach had
machine
legitimate
gun
safety
expert.
concern. You guys are just frickin' idiots.
Exactly.
It's nice to have a story about your leadership that doesn't exemplify how stupid they
True,
were.
true, yeah.
I felt validated.
Yeah. Oh, that was fun. That was extremely fun. Infuriating at point, like the Bradley one was actually pretty damn infuriating. So this is the end of the video. I don't think I'm gonna make this a two-parter. It's gonna be this one because I talked a lot over the middle of it. But just one thing I wanted to leave out for the end because I couldn't just get into it. Zach just mentioned a gate guard duty that kind of called in the specialist to check out the Bradley and all that. I wanted to say, as someone who has done a lot of the gate guard duty, the amount of power that one of those guys have is just extremely high. So much so that even like their clothes, the clothes of a gate guard are completely different to others. Just to signify it, they have these, they have something akin to a braided rope that falls off to one of their sides. It's called a vaxil, vaxil. It has a very historical and figure for a cop, but in different colors. It might show you that the guy is a gate guard duty, a guardsman or something, and they dress differently. Even the conscripts. So a conscript that gets work with the guard duty over a gate guard has to wear ceremonial outfits, be extremely like in pristine conditions, but also comes with a lot of responsibility. That is like checking the dates and times of exits, enters, making sure every single guy that comes in has to be checked like thoroughly. Any kind of equipment has to go by him first, and he's the guy that would get in trouble if any of these have happened to be found inside the base. So yeah, the gate guardman also did a fine job of calling like Specialist Zach, the gun expert, to just clean out the equipment before allowing it entry. I do want to talk about the ceremonial ones because there are like a couple of things I find interesting. Might be the same to you. I'm gonna pick the pictures of the vaxils I'm going to talk about. They fall on the left side of your uniform on the shoulder pouch. Yeah, they usually come in like 3 different colors that I've seen: the yellow, the red, and the white. Usually the red is signifying gate guardians or the entrance guardians. The white ones would be used for inspectors. They would be like specific to different companies. So a small portion of a company would have the guard duty, and their leader would have the white waxils, for example. But the overall military camp would have the red ones. The vaxil itself has like a very weird looking one, but each like string that is coming off of it has a definitive meaning. It's a very symbolic one. It has a metal piece that is falling off of it. That signifies the police whistle, which is a control and aware type of symbolic meaning to it. One of them is like a braided type of string that it's meant to represent the rope that you use for the gallows. So yeah, that's like it kind of signifies the meaning that every life kind of bears on your shoulder, so be protective of it. And all of this strings that you can see like going into each other is just one continuous string, which is kind of representative of the force and the command chain, that while it looks that it's branching everywhere, it has and always will have one chain of command. So it has a very symbolic meaning. And there also is this cap that they wear, extremely bright red in color. Yeah, I just found that kind of like interesting and wanted you to know about it. All right, I ranted on enough. That's all for this video. Leave a comment on what do you like to see next. Tell me your thoughts or ask any questions away. So please like and support the original creators of this video. And if you like this one, maybe do the same for me. Goodbye, and new videos every week.